Hi, I'm Chris Baio. I play bass.
Hi, I'm Christopher Thompson. I play the drums.
Hi, I'm Ezra. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Rostam. I play keyboard and sing harmonies. For us, I guess it's something that we could have seen coming, but I guess it's nice to hear. Hopefully, it's hype is just like the stage that comes before actually delivering a good album, which is what we care about the most.
Well, yeah, I think for us, the big thing was just kind of musically was we were consciously trying to do a little something different. Maybe, because, we'd seen a lot of bands and heard a lot of bands, from New York and elsewhere. And there's, like a lot of similar stuff we were hearing. So a lot of it, I think, was the fact that we, consciously tried to switch it up and play something a little different. And I think that it kind of translated to when people heard it, they responded. We've all heard Graceland, but I mean, that's not something that we based, our sound off of, certainly. I think a lot of it comes down to that's by far for a lot of people been the biggest introduction or kind of exposure at any rate to African music, because Paul Simon was a big star and that album did so well, that when they hear a little bit of that in our sound, I guess that's kind of what they're, instead of being able to where some people might hear something and think of African music in general, I guess a lot of people kind of go right to Graceland. But yeah, I mean I think African music is just at the end of the day, it's something we all like and enjoy, but it's just part of, I think, what we're trying to do.
Well, one of our songs is also called Cape Cod Kwassa Kwassa, and I guess the idea when I was writing that little bio, the idea of creating your own genres was something that was kind of funny, but also not totally unrelated to the way that we make music. In some ways there is kind of a connection between those things, and hopefully our music, the idea of making a song that could fit into some sort of imaginary genre is really nice, because a lot of times people, you can write down on paper what you want something to sound like, this meets that, but the actual act of putting it together and still making something good is difficult. No, none of us have ever been to Africa. Chris wants to go he's a big soccer fan. He wants us to play at the 2010 World Cup in South Africa. I really want to go to Morocco. I've been reading a lot of books lately that take place in Morocco. So it'd be interesting to go to North Africa too. Yeah, in Paris in the metro there were signs for it's 40 euros or something to fly to Morocco. I've never heard of an American band going on tour in Africa. The White Stripes toured in
Brazil, Northern Canada.
But I guess that's kind of different. Yeah, it was supposed to come out Christmas 2006, but it got canned. It's all that exists is a trailer. It's a movie I started making with some friends when I was home one summer in college, a couple of years before Vampire Weekend the band started. And it was called Vampire Weekend. It was about vampires, and there's a character called Wolcott who had to go to Cape Cod, and it's no script. Kind of filmed it for a day, and then gave up. And then around the time the band started, I had found the footage, and so I made a trailer because I just got a laptop. So I made a trailer in iMovie, and then we needed a name because we were playing a show, so we just said, Vampire Weekend. And also we had a song called Wolcott that was kind of inspired by the movie. But that's basically it. So that movie doesn't exist. Probably will never exist. And well, there was the first time I heard of an Oxford comma, and also I was raised not to use the comma before an and, or actually, yeah. Well, no one ever told me to use it. No, I mean genetically, I was. No, well, I never used that kind of comma. And on Facebook, do you have Facebook here?
Yeah.
So, there was a Facebook group at Columbia, which I came across because I think maybe my friend David was in it at one point. That was called Students for the Preservation of the Oxford Comma. And so they were talking about like what they liked about Oxford commas and how they provided like clarity or something. And so then I guess I had it like cooking in my head, this thing called an Oxford comma, and I liked the fact that it was like a comma, but it had this like the official name of this university attached to it. So I kind of liked that phrase. And then
You also have the Harvard comma, I read on Wikipedia.
yeah, it says
It's the same thing, right?
yeah, and I really don't think people use either one of those words all that much. In fact, when we played in London, I was talking to somebody who went to Oxford, and it was kind of funny because they like had no idea what that was, and I was like trying to explain it. Maybe serial comma. That's
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah.
so then. Yeah, once that was even like before the band officially started. I was just at home at my parents' house. I just sat down at the piano and was writing something, and that just came out as a lyric. And then I wrote the rest later. People like think it's nerdy sometimes just because it's about a comma, but it is. Who gives a fuck about an Oxford comma? But maybe that doesn't mean anything. Maybe just even mentioning it makes people feel a certain way.
Bayo majored in Russian regional studies. I majored in economics and music. Ezra was English, and Rostam was straight music. Yeah, that was unfortunately there wasn't a specific class about that, but I mean maybe that's maybe there's some connections there. I mean I didn't really pay attention in economics. That was more of a I don't know.
Well, it's different than the recordings because we put a lot of work into the recordings, and if we want a certain sound or a certain instrument on a recording, we'll put it in, and it doesn't matter to us if we can recreate it easily live. We let them be kind of two different things. So in some ways the live show is a little noisier, a little rowdier. It's the same songs, obviously, but yeah, we think it's kind of an energetic, fun thing.